Hello everyone, this is Stephanie. Welcome to lesson 6 of the bead embroidery series. So here we are. We're going to finish this cuff off today. So we're going to learn how to do this edging to bring it all together, and you're just going to love your piece when you're done. So for this you're going to need some thread, and I have a wildfire and a fireline in 2 different colors. So I'll get into the colors in the next clip. You'll need some 11/0 seed beads. I have a stop bead, a size 10 beading needle. Of course, your piece completed and glued and ready to go. So I'm going to clear this off and we're going to get started. But first, don't forget to look in the description box below the video for all the materials, everything. So as I said, I'm just going to keep copy and paste every video. So if you want to find the materials or you need some, something, it's all down there in the description box. So the down arrow show more, you know the drill. All right, so I'm going to clear this off and we're going to get started. Okay, let's sew this together. So I've done quite a bit of it, but I'm going to start a new thread just like randomly, just to show you as if I haven't done any of it. So I've threaded my needle with a few feet of thread. You want to keep it manageable, and I'm using wildfire here, and I'm using the green, and just because it's close to this color, the thread isn't going to show. You might have like little bits showing right here, depending on how much the thread goes into the ultra suede. Pretty much disappears, but I thought it might be better to use the green. The only other place you're going to see the thread is on the top of the beads here, because it's brick stitch, right? So you're going to see that the thread bridge on the top. So I thought if I would use a light color, because you can't see any dark thread throughout the whole thing, so that's why I use that. So I've put on a stop bead and left enough of a tail to just kind of sew in. I don't know that you really need the stop bead, but I put a stop bead on everything. All right, so let me pull in. So here I have my edge right here. So here's the edge of my ultra suede. Here, let me go back here. Here's the edge of my ultra suede. Here's the edge of my cuff, and here's my bead backing that I colored here. So I'm just going to pick up an 11/0. I'm going to sew through the edge of the ultra suede, and the way I know where to sew is that I'm just going to make sure it hits and glides over the metal part of the cuff. So I can feel the metal part of the cuff now. My needle, see, my needle is like right over the top of the metal part of the cuff. And then I'm going to make sure, that I go through the ultra suede. See, it's pulling it a little bit. You want to make sure you catch enough of the ultra suede, because if you don't and you just get the fuzzy part on the outside, it's not going to stay. So here, I'm caught. I can pull it. It's not coming up. I'm just going to hold it like this, and I've got the first one is, a little wonky, it was a little wonky, but then after that it's easy. So here I'm just going to be holding my little bead there, and see, my stop bead is going to hold that bead in place, and I'm just going to pull the stop bead away. So see, this is what I have. I've come through my ultra suede, past the top of the cuff, through the bead backing. I'm just going to go right back through just that 11/0 bead I put on there. I'm just going to hold it with my thumb, and when I pull, it pulls that bead down, see, just like that. It's not secure yet, but it will be in a minute. So I'm just going to hold this, keep this aside like that. That's how it should be. I'm going to pick up another 11/0. Don't worry about it if it's not super tight yet. Do the same thing. I'm just going to come about, I don't know, half a bead's width away, beads width away. You don't want to bunch the beads up, but you don't want too much space between them. So here, I've gone through the ultra suede, I've hit the cuff, the metal, it's rubbing against it, and I'm through the backing. Pull. That sounded like I yelled at you. Pull and go through the bead you just put on. Now you're secure and you don't have to worry about the beads moving. Let's do that again. 11/0 through the ultra suede. You're picking up a little bit. You're hitting the backing. Sometimes you'll come through a couple of beads like this. I prefer not to do that because you don't want to pull them out of shape. You can go in between beads sometimes. But if I'm going to hit the thread, I just kind of take my thumb and push them down and then angle my needle up just a little bit. So I get through the backing and I don't, kind of mess up any of the beads. So then back through the 11/0. That's it. That's what you're going to do all the way down. He'll do one more time with you. 11/0. This is so satisfying, this part. About a bead's width away, half a bead's width away. Coming through the backing. My needle is kind of grazing the metal, and I've strongly through my bead backing without disturbing any beads. Pull and up the bead. So here you have your little brick stitch edging going on, and this is what it looks like on the other side. Okay, so you're just going to do that all the way around, and you won't have a problem with these corners because they're rounded. So you're just going to just keep going around and around and around, and sometimes it's a little, depending on the shape of your bead embroidery, sometimes, it's not going to be perfectly straight, like it goes up and down a little bit, but it's really makes a beautiful edging. Now you can use bigger beads, you can use 8/0s, you can do a picot, you can put crystals on the top. I'm just giving you the simple brick stitch, and then you can go crazy from there. All right, so get that done. Come on back. Okay, we're back. So now we just need to sew the threads in. Now I did this already, and then my clip got corrupted, so I can't do it again. So because I can't take it out. So I'm just gonna, I added a thread, but this is exactly what it's gonna look like for you. So I'm gonna get you through it. You're gonna be, so here, this is the thread you originally put on, the end. You went all the way around the cuff. Here, now you're back at this end. So you just wanna sew the threads in now. You want to connect those two ends. So I've added all the beads. You've done your brick stitch here. So exiting here, you're just going to sew through this one like that. Like that. And then I'm going to go back through the one that I was started with. So I just want to get a loop in there to sew to get that connected. So now you're connected, and this one you're going to just repeat what I did and go in this direction because you are connected right now. Okay? So I'm going to just turn my cuff in this direction so I see the back. Exiting a bead right there. I'm going to sew through this one, so that's the one more over, and through the backing, or the ultra suede, just want to get a little bit right there. See that? See how I'm just taking a bit? I'm going to get my needle through, like that, and then then you're going to sew back through the backing, and this is hard to do on camera. Let's see if I can get my needle in there. Very close to where your ultra suede, where you came through the ultra suede. So I don't even know if I can get my needle in here properly, but I'll do my best. Okay, so you want to get a little bit closer. I can't get any closer. So you just want to get very close to where your original thread was coming out. And what that does is it just pulls that thread in so you don't see it. Okay, and then I'm going to turn my cuff around again. I'm exiting here. I like to end on the beaded side of the cuff. So I'm just going to sew through just the next bead and even the backing if you want to. And then all I do at this point is I go through a few beads that are on the backing, on the front. Now you don't want to rack anything out. You don't want to pull your beads apart or anything. I just go through like that. I'll even go all the way down. Sometimes it just takes you wherever it wants to go, like that. And you're really done. At this point, you're just kind of allowing that thread just to, you're all sewn in and you're all knotted. You just want the thread going through a few beads, like you would if you were doing any sewing in anything. And then just make sure that you've got your end done, and you just burn it off here. I'm not going to go crazy because, I need to be closer. And then, like I said, you can do the same thing on this side, and then you'll have a nice edge on your cuff. All right, so let's take a look at it. I'll put it on. Oops. How pretty is that? I love it. I think it came out great. Can't tell you how much fun I had doing this series. I hope you had as much fun watching it as I did creating this. So I want to thank you for joining me throughout the series, and I'll see you in the next video. Take care. Bye-bye.